Hey, what's up, everybody? This is KG from Draw 7. Welcome to today's podcast. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about recapping the PokeFest 2025 that happened this past weekend on Sunday. Recap the tournament gameplay, give you my initial thoughts about the vendors, the overall tournament, and just kind of do a quick vibe check, how I felt about it itself. Then we're going to be moving on to the 2026 Pokemon Play Pokemon season and talk about the state of the card game moving forward, kind of give you some information where to look for card shops in the event locator on Play Pokemon itself and on social media like Facebook or whatnot, and talk about the South Texas Pokemon page. And then we're going to give my initial thoughts of some of the rule changes that are coming up for the 2026 Play Pokemon season, particularly the end of round rule change. I'm gonna talk about it and just give you my initial thoughts, how it's gonna translate to the local meta and gameplay for the Rgv in South Texas. And then of course, we're gonna talk about and give a small tribute to one of our pioneers that we lost this past weekend for card shop and pop culture and comic book itself, Mr. LG Davis, owner of Myth Adventures, passed away this past weekend, and we'll kind of give you just a small shout out to a very big pioneer for the Rgv in South Texas itself, and just kind of talk about my experience going to Myth Adventures, especially as a kid. So we hope you enjoy this podcast for today. I'm your host, KG Draw 7. How's everyone doing on this nice Tuesday? It's pre-4th of July. Right now it's Tuesday and we got a 4th of July Friday, so that means everyone is kind of chilling right now, getting those Tuesday blues. I know we had our Monday blues, but it's currently raining, at least where I'm at. I don't know how the weather is in the Upper Valley, but in Brownsville it's been scattered showers and whatnot. So hope everyone's doing well. I know I'm doing well, enjoying my vacation. So let's dive right into the podcast. So, PokeFest, PokeFest 2025. As you can see, if you're listening on audio, you can't see it, but if you are watching it on your PC or from your phone, you're seeing that picture. I want to congratulate to all the participants, all 32 participants that played TCG, the Pokemon TCG tournament at PokeFest, hosted by Stronghold Games. Shout out to the staff, shout out to the judges, shout out to myself for helping out and running the Pokemon trivia. That was fun. Very, very fun to do that. It's always a pleasure to help out Merced and the family, the Fam Bam and Stronghold Games doing the trivia. So it was fun. So congratulations to our top 16 players and our top 8 that you see in the photo. You can see representation from all South Texas. And why do I say all South Texas? Because the winner for the PokeFest 2025 this year with Guardy was Dustin Hatcher. So shout out to him and congratulations to him for winning. He's always good player, great vibes. He loves coming down to play in the Valley. He might as well just be, I know he's going to school up there doing the music thing, right, at Tamu, but he's an adopted Rgv native for us, but he's just pretty cool guy, good vibes, and very decent card player, and very happy that he was able to take the tournament down at PokeFest 2025. So congratulations again to Dustin Hatcher for winning first place, and you can see him in the picture with his homeboy Dylan. And congratulations to everybody else. You can see Tony, Billy, Ralph. Not bad, Ralph, going 3-1-1. He's got a special fan, Adrian. I know Adrian's been saying that more than once, especially in the chat. So Ralph, got yourself a little fan out there, and congratulations to everyone. There was equal representation from all the shops, from Cascade, to Sapos, to Stronghold, to Kaboom, and special shout out to Billy. He's chilling in the background with his Piplup swag that he got. I think he got it from Pat. I'm not too sure, because I know Pat and his wife, they had a vendor there. They were selling some mats there, some swag. So I think Billy got it from there. I don't remember. With my age, I don't remember much. So that's the joke of the day, right? So congratulations to all those. And, you know, payout was a Destined Rivals case, you know, and, oh, I'm sorry. I got to do a shout out to Peter Halas. He's back there chilling with his Raging Bolt. So yeah, Raging Bolt. So, in talking to the meta for South Texas for that tournament, it was equal representation. You had Bolt, Polt, Guardy, and Jank. You know, you had Gator. I saw Gator. I saw Toad Scroll. I don't know. Toad Scroll is considered Jank now because it got top 8 and NIC. So I don't think Toad Scroll is considered Jank. But Reyes and people representation. We're repping the deck. It was kind of interesting because when Horacio and I were deck checking, it was interesting because there was not one Gator, but 2 Gators. It's like, oh man, we got some clones in the house. Then Toad Scroll as well. You know, I saw a couple of people, 1 or 2 people run Toad Scroll. Usually you see 1, right? But I saw 2. So it was pretty cool to see that. But congratulations to all for making it out. You know, and I know there was... in running the tournament, I know it's kind of hard to, not hard to run the tournament, but there's going to be some bumps and bruises along the way, and they're always the same bumps and bruises every time I participated, or in this case, the last couple of years, helped Stronghold run the tournament. And one of them is pre-registration. It really breaks my heart that people come in, and I know they want to play the card tournament, and they are not aware of pre-registration because they either don't go look for it or they don't see it. And I don't blame them because at the end of the day, like, well, first of all, in PokeFest, vendors and whatnot, everyone is allotted a certain amount of space, right? So the reason why it's always capped at 32 is because that's how much space Stronghold has to work with as far as tables and chairs. They can't add any more chairs. They can't add any more tables, and you know, if they made it any longer than 5 rounds, then it's not going to finish in time because PokeFest starts at 12 and I believe it ends 5 or 6. So what everyone needs to understand, unfortunately, is that there needs to be time to set up, tear down, and then clear the space because business is business pretty much, you know. And the other problem is that there's no like secret line or VIP line to go through and then go straight to the tournament, because you got to remember, these players, if they get a chance to, because the tournament's all day practically, unless they go between rounds, like those guys are literally playing cards all day at the convention center. If they're lucky to see vendors, maybe, unless they send, you know, their friends or their spouses, their girlfriends to do the shopping, right? But other than that, they're playing cards. So to wait in line, and hopefully you get there you get there early enough. If not, you're waiting, right? And then, you know, I know the tournament didn't start at 1 exactly. We had to wait a couple of minutes because some people were in line. So it didn't start till like 1:30. But, you know, Horacio was being cool about it. So props to him and whatnot. So I know George was like the last one to get in there. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, we do our best to accommodate as judges. So... But there's just a lot of things that kind of get in the way to run to what people would want. And we've kind of turned away some people. And I know some people had brought their deck to play the tournament. If we had more time, if we had more tables and chairs that were allotted to Stronghold, then yeah, definitely we do pick up 8-man pods and best of 1 and whatnot, or something to that nature to accommodate everybody else. But that's just not in the cards pretty much. And it's pretty much the same hand dealt every year. With a lot of time and then the lines and the logistics pretty much. So that's kind of how, this is kind of how as good as it's going to get for a 32-man. And of course, the ones that did sign up because they either followed the webpage or PokeFest or whatnot. So it is what it is, guys. And those of you that made it, you know, we thank you. And those of you that couldn't or were not aware of it, you know, just plan ahead next year. That's all I can tell you, you know. And, you know, it's not the end of the world. There's other tournaments as well. So as far as the vendors, you know, and if you want my opinion about the vendors, I think the vendors this year were pretty good in my opinion, compared to the years past. I walked around towards the end of the tournament. The tournament kind of ended a little bit earlier than before. I think I had We had an hour and a half, so I was able to walk around. Now, for sure, what I've learned is I always try to eat before the tournament starts, because at some point it does get packed and the lines do get long. So, and then at the end of the tournament, you know, most of the food is kind of gone or they put it away. So at the end, I mean, just to show you, at the end, I pretty much was at the movie theater because I just got, you know, the pickle and popcorn and soda kind of vibes. But that's all right. I kind of ate before. I know they had Korean corn dogs, and no offense, I know Lonnie got us some. I tried it. I particularly didn't like it, but there was a long line for it. It was the one next to the Stronghold on the right. That vendor. It's a particularly long line for it. So I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I know there were some sauces there. I didn't put any of the hot sauce or whatever sauce they had there. I didn't have time to. I just asked for a half and half cheese and half sausage, pretty much. And I tried it out, and it was all right, you know, a little bland for me. Wasn't for me though, but hey, if everyone else liked it, to each their own, right? Everyone's entitled to their opinions, so it just wasn't for me. But I can at least say I tried it, so shout out to Lonnie for getting that for Audacio and I think Audacio tried it, not too sure, but so yeah. So overall, the vendors were cool. Got to see all the vendors, and most of the usual suspects were there. So the Ghostbuster crew was there, the Jurassic Park people were there, and some of the vendors that I usually see were there. Moonblast was there, the Booms from Westlaco, they were there. Got to see the Pocket as well, got to see Leo and the boys, and of course Pat as well. So it was good to see everyone there. Good vibes all around. So, and probably the only thing that was kind of like because we're so next to the stages, and no offense to the band, you know, they played well, but just how loud it is, you know. But it's whatever, you know. I mean, and you have to understand that not everyone there is there for a rock concert, or the speakers were kind of too loud. Even when I did the trivia, you know, I kind of asked, hey, can we lower the mic, because I have a very projecting voice, and you know, and didn't happen, so I had to speak away from the microphone. But it's all right, you know. Poker trivia went well. Everyone knew the answers to the questions, so that was kind of cool. So shout out to those that won the prizes courtesy of Stronghold Games. A little gift bag, a little swag. So, but yeah, overall good vibes. And you know, and I'll kind of, if you're watching it on YouTube or on your phone, I'll kind of show you where to find that information. So if you go to Rgv PokeFest group, see it on the web right now. They still have their, obviously, because it just happened this past weekend, their theme. Their theme was the Dojo Showdown. So you got the Halucha Pikachu going, and you got the Halucha and Greninja. So that was kind of their theme, right? So I know some people wanted to be a vendor or get vendor information, and so this is where you probably want to be. Okay, the Rgv PokeFest, and you probably want to email info@Rgv PokeFest. I know Margaret's the one in charge, and you wanna. They're not taking signups right now, of course, because it just happened. But oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, you know, towards the end of it, I was able to take a picture and get an autograph from Professor Oak, voice actor Steven. So I appreciate that, and he was cool about it, you know. And yes, I'm gonna give a shout out to Audacio, because he was whining, you know. No shout out to him on my Facebook, because I put a picture of me and Steven on there, the voice of Professor Oak. So I'm gonna shout out to Audacio for taking the picture for me. I appreciate it. All right, but if you want to get information on the Rgv PokeFest, this is where it is on Facebook. Okay, and if you want to get information about the card tournament, Stronghold Games or PokeFest, because they do share the Stronghold Games tournament. Okay, so I'm showing you that, and it's cool, you know. They do a countdown, and they show you all the sponsors and whatnot. And yeah, shout out to Mr. Blizzard. He came out today. I know Oziel from Bronzo got a pretty cool pick with him. Special guest appearance by Mr. Blizzard. So for all of you that don't know, Mint Oreo is my favorite Blizzard. I know for those of you that don't like mint, you're gonna tell me, well, it's because it tastes like toothpaste. Well, that's fine. You say what you want, but I like, okay, we'll meet halfway. I like Oreo Blizzard. okay? But my favorite is mint Oreo. But I do like an Oreo Blizzard. We can meet halfway. We can compromise, right? So yeah, and PokeFest, they're pretty good about giving out the vendor information and where to apply. So I guess those of you that want to vend for next year, it particularly happened a little earlier in June. Usually it's towards the end of July or at the beginning of July, as far as PokeFest, but it's a little earlier than before. But, but shout out to everybody that did an amazing job. If you're staffing or volunteering or running a vendor, I'm sure you did well. And I know product is scarce in Pokemon. Everyone has to scratch tooth and nail to find it right, but it seemed like it worked out for everybody with their singles and slabs or products. So I know with Stronghold, I told Lonnie, like when they were setting up, they had a wall of product, right? Where everyone did, I'm sure. And then towards the middle or the end, it's like clearly an empty table. I mean, it's just crazy, and so yeah. So I think that kind of does it for PokeFest. If you have any thoughts about the PokeFest, drop your comments below. Maybe some things you want to see, some things you don't want to see. I can definitely throw those out to Merced Salinas. He is in not good terms. I mean, he is in good terms, right? But he does touch base with Margaret, and I know they're very receptive to feedback. So if you have any suggestions about PokeFest or what you want to see, drop in the comments below my podcast. So, all right. I think that kind of recaps PokeFest. Let's kind of go into particularly the card game for Play Pokemon. And let's talk about South Texas. So right now, and we'll talk about the state of the card game for South Texas Play and Pokemon TCG. So right now, I'm going to show you my web browser. Show you where most of us kind of hang out. Okay, so if you want to get any information of South Texas Pokemon TCG, and you're watching this on YouTube or on your phone, particularly, or if you're listening, then you want to go to Facebook and you want to find South Texas Pokemon TCG. That's the group. You might find an old one that says Rgv Pokemon League. They're both run by the same person, Billy. Billy ran the Rgv, and then now he's oversees the top South Texas Pokemon TCG. So if you want to find all information as far as the competitive aspect and where to play cards and where to find leagues, then you want to find South Texas Pokemon TCG. They are pretty strict about selling or having raffles because the philosophy and the idea of this page is to relate tournament information. So if you're a card shop or you're somebody that wants to promote your business for organized play and you're particularly a league, then this is where you probably want to find most of the players in South Texas. And when I mean South Texas, San Antonio, down, even Texas itself. I've seen people from Dallas and Houston post their information. So, pretty resourceful site. And the reason I'm showing you that on my screen is because the new season is upon us. So if you go to the pinned tabs, you'll see Michael Doñas, Billy, see the 2026 season. You click on it and it's going to show you so far for July into August what events have been scheduled already for the 2026 championship season. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about as far as the season, that's perfectly fine because that's why you're here. So every season, Play Pokemon has all these organized leagues run by our local card shops, and they have a season where you can go play at sanctioned events or official events represented by Play Pokemon to play in their tournaments in Pokemon TCG standard format to win championship points. And what these points do is that over time, as you place higher or win a League Cup or a League Challenge, that's what the name of the events are called, and I'll break it down for you about League Challenges, League Cups. If you do well, then you accumulate points, and the more points you get, the more you get ranked higher in the leaderboard that Play Pokemon has. And at the end of the season, if you're the top 135 players in North American, then you achieve what they call the World's Invite to the World Tournament. And I believe Worlds is happening in August in Anaheim, California. Not too sure about that, but I think it's in Anaheim. And the World Championships, it's cool to go. Even if you're not playing in the tournament or you don't achieve a World's Invite, just getting a guest badge, a guest pass is awesome to go. In the last 2 years, it's been in Hawaii and Japan. So I know some people have gone. I know Billy has gone. I know there's a player named Olaf Rodriguez. I think he's gone as well. So it's a cool experience. So if you're ever interested in going to the local scene for South Texas, then this is where you need to be. And right now, you can see some of the shops already posted their events. We do have an organized chat that we have in there with judges and shop owners and tournament organizers. So we're already organizing. And the season for 2026 starts actually in July, which is pretty cool because I'm doing this podcast on July 1st. So what a coincidence, right? So yeah. So if you're interested in doing the new season, it starts. And yes, every year Worlds is always going to be in August. So there's going to be some overlap where the new season starts, but Worlds, as the old season of 2020 hasn't wrapped up yet. But by then, the World Tournament, everyone kind of knows who got their invite, So yeah. And league challenges and league cups give you points to get your World's invite. And there is a best finish limit. So in league challenges, can you go to more than 4 league challenges? Absolutely. You can go as many as you want. You can go as many league cups as you want. But Pokemon is only going to recognize your top 4 finishes. So let's say you go to 5 league challenges and 4 of them you get first, and then 1 of them you get second. The one that gets second is not going to be your best finish because the other 4. And so league challenges give less points than league cups. League cups give a maximum of up to 50 points. So if you get first, you're getting 50 league cup points. And if you get first for league challenge, you're getting 15. So in a perfect world, if you get first place in all your league cups, all 4, and you get first place for all your league challenges, you're going to hit that max. And so that max is going to be 260, I want to say. Could be wrong. Let's see. Can I math? League cups, 50. 4. 200. League challenges, 15. Times 4. 60. Yeah, so 260. I could be wrong about it, but, the ones that really know will correct me. Especially Billy. Okay. So yeah. That's kind of the cap. So now the question is, where do you get your other points? Regionals, ICs, the International Championships. Europe has one. North American has one. That was this past June at Louisiana, New Orleans. Latin American has one. And regionals, which they already kind of posted. Okay, so anyway, so if you're looking at the South Texas page, I've been on there for quite a while. You can see the dates and the name of the shops: Cascade Comics, Stronghold, Kaboom, Cascade, and there's more of them. Moonblast, Pocket. They'll start posting theirs. So yeah, so check out the South Texas page. Okay, check them out, get approved, and whatnot. So, all right, now moving on. What happens if you're traveling or you're out of town, or for whatever reason Billy hasn't updated the South Texas page? Which could happen, right? He does get busy. Okay. Where do you look? Well, I'm going to show you. You're going to go to the actual Pokemon page. You can go to events.pokemon.com, or you can go to Play Pokemon. You can Google it if you want to play Pokemon, and just go to Event Locator. And you're going to see right now, it's pretty cool because it's Bidoof Day. So shout out to Robert from Home Games. He's the Bidoof man, rocking that Bidoof hat. So, but yeah, the event locator, pretty cool. All you got to do is post what city you are. like currently right now, so it's showing me Brownsville. And then on the left hand side, you'll see all the events that are happening, and it's going to be labeled if it's going to tell you if it's a League Challenge or a League Cup. So right now we're looking at Brownsville, and you can see Cascade's already posted their League Challenges for month of June, July. But let's say we want to look at McAllen, so we'll put McAllen, and then you'll see Kaboom's League Challenge, and then you'll see League Cup. Okay, do one more. Donna, Stronghold, it's located. Same thing. Okay, so let's say you're traveling to San Antonio for a weekend for business. You know, we say business, right? But or professional development. They tell Tony. Okay, so let's say you're going to San Antonio. You hit San Antonio, and then you're going to see all the name of the card shops that are hosting. So, like this place, House of Cards, they're doing a League Challenge on July 15th. And you want more information, you can click on it, and then it'll give you the phone number, emails, and whatnot. It's probably easier to call to confirm, because some of these do probably reserve spots if they have a cap, or depending the size of the shop, you know what I mean? So yeah, but yeah, so event locator, great place to use, great place to find updated information. Now, I'm using this for teaching purposes, so in no way, shape, or form I'm dogging on this. But if you're a TO or a judge, and I know we had a little small meet and greet judges convention at Stronghold Games, so shout out to those that went up there, Sub and the gang, you know, Sub, Manny, Dylan. Yes, I'm giving Dylan a shout out. He was there. I'm happy he was there. Tony, Ralph, Isaiah, or anyone out there that's a TO. You know, if you're running a shop, or if you're running a tournament, you know, you probably want to put as much information as possible. So, for example, we're going to go, where is it? Here we go. Yeah, so, all right, so this one, we'll just say. This one is League Challenge, right? And from the organizer, all they put is, boom, Austin Challenge. That's it. You know, and that's cool. Maybe the person was excited, right? Like, because they finally got challenges. But you kind of want to put entry fee, what time, you know, stuff like that. Sure, you can call, right? But the more information you put out there, the better. I know it says 1:30, right? 1:30 to 2, but all information is good, you know, especially the format. We know it's standard, right? But you just, if you're a TO or a judge, you have to assume that the person that looks at this knows nothing. You just kind of assume they do know, right? So, and if not, I mean, they're going to call, right? But you might be busy doing your thing, selling those slabs or whatever. But, so yeah. So if you want some advice, construction criticism, put as much information as you can. Never assume. And more than once, particularly. All right. So there you go. All right. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, we're going to move on to the state of the card game for 2026 in the community. Okay. So we're going into the new season, and there's different groups now. But I will have to say that I think it's pretty cool, and I'll probably piggyback for NIC. But has the community grown? Most definitely. Most definitely. Hands down. It's grown. And I say that because we've had like the most people ever, and I've asked Billy to confirm this, but we've had the most people ever from NNIC to go to play Pokemon. Okay. So as far as the state of the game, I think it's in a really great place as a player, as a card player. Very cheap too to get into it. I mean, Pokemon was nice enough to release those Marnie battle decks, and Grimmsnarl itself. You can see I'm rocking the Grimmsnarl there, right? But Grimmsnarl itself, battle decks, Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX battle deck, great to have. Almost complete. You're just missing a couple cards. Not to mention the old battle deck Dracopult. You know, I mean, the card game is just in the best place to be right now to play. As far as a vendor, card shop, probably not so much. Okay, because getting product is a pain in the butt. You know, especially that everyone's kind of saturated and everyone's trying to sell it because it's hot right now. It's the hottest new product. So Play Pokemon is definitely doing a good job in selling the cards and whatnot. And then of course just the old cards too for those collectors. I mean, literally back in the day when I was a kid, I mean, baseball cards, this is where it's at. And it still is, trust me, right? You know, sports cards. But now I think it's safe to say that Pokemon itself has risen up to the level of cards, baseball cards, or not surpassed it. Because I'm definitely not into the slab scene, but there's those slab boys that are out there that do make those deals. I particularly talked to one at Kaboom, his name was Salem, I want to say, but he gave me the breakdown on it. Pretty cool guy, just there, make some deals. And so yeah. So as far as the state of the card game, I think like particularly it's great for the community, for a card player. Now we have all these team shirts. We always had team shirts, right? But now there's more team shirts than ever, more representation. I think the community has gotten closer because some of these guys have been around for already 2 or 3 years, if not more. So I think it's definitely grown a lot as far as the community. Now, the touchy subject is being competitive. And the question I ask everybody is, are we competitive enough? That's a rhetorical question. And I'm sure some of you are like, oh, I want you to answer it. Okay. I'll tell you this much. I think there's a misconception of being competitive. And what I mean by that is, I think there's a lot of people that have good intentions that want to be competitive. I really do. I think there's people that have the drive, that want to be good and want to be better at it. However, I feel like a lot of them want the red carpet rolled out. And what I mean by that is, we want special circumstances to happen in order for me to be competitive. And I'm talking just as an example of somebody that would say that. That's kind of the vibe I feel. Okay. So in other words, what I mean is, okay, if something or someone is hosting best of 3, I will play. Cool. But then for whatever reason, nobody does it. I mean, we have, right? For like majors, but particularly all the time. Best of 3. But if that's not happening, then nobody's reciprocating. Stuff like that, we want unique circumstances and special accommodations, and I get it. I understand, like in the local scene, most of the time it's best of 1. And I understand that. I get that. Unfortunately, best of 1, it is a different format in a sense of when you make your meta call for your deck. It's time to sleeve up the Crayola box Raging Bolt, right? So, and the Guardy players, if they play well enough or they drop hot enough, then yeah, they'll make a top cut. So as far as the competitiveness, in my opinion, I think we can be competitive. I think we're not there yet by a long shot, especially this year. And I include myself in that bunch too. I'm competitive, but I'm not like declaring going to 8 regionals and all that. That's just not on my cards right now, because adulting. But I certainly will help people to get there, that have that drive for it, and have the time. My shout outs to them. And I say that because right now there is a threshold, and that threshold is as far as the 135. If you look at the top 135 players, there is at least 5 to 7 people with 700 championship points. And I want to confirm that they invited all of them. So that means there's more than 135, because there's I don't think there's a tiebreaker. I just think they invited all of them. But apparently the tiebreaker was play points, not championship play points. Play points just means the number of tournaments you've gone, and they just stack up. So yeah. So I'm kind of glad that they invited those people. 2 worlds with the same championship points. So going back to the local scene, 700 is the magic number. And I think the highest we have in the RGV, I think Tony. So, and that's, I don't know, I want to say 300. I could be wrong, maybe less. But for sure, like, I don't think anyone even met halfway there. Now, to be fair, this year we didn't know what magic number to shoot, but now, you know, we have a magic number. It's 700. Now it could even get higher next year because people know that threshold and they want to be safe about it. So they're traveling to all these majors and doing well. They're probably going to shoot for 800. You know what I'm trying to say? So consider it the new ELO that's happening for Pokemon. And so yeah, so definitely getting a Worlds invite, in my opinion, has gone harder. But if you crack top 4 or even higher at a regional, then not only are you good or you did well, you know, you're going to Worlds. So Pokemon is at least doing that, right? So, but yeah, as far as the competitive scene, I think we're not there yet. I think we will get there eventually. It just depends on the synergy. And it's got to be a team effort. You know, there's no one-man fan show. There isn't. There really isn't. Everyone can feed off of each other and we can learn something. And the misconception I'm talking about is typically the grind. You know, there's competitive players that understand that there's a grind to this, and there's competitive players that don't understand that there's a grind. So, you know, if they play a League Cup and they scrub out, they're pretty much saying the sky is falling. You know, and I get it. Things don't go our way. But then you sit back and you kind of reflect, okay, what could I have done better? Was I write the pilot for the deck? Stuff like that. And then you go again. And then you go again, right? And so, yeah, that's the grind, you know. And eventually you max out on your points and challenges. So, yeah. So, if there's one thing we can do better is we need to do better at grinding out games, grinding out what we need to do, regardless of the circumstances. And you guys are smart, you know where to test, who to ask. And my philosophy is more of a, you know, I want the community to grow. That's my background. And then along the way, we can make a competitive grade. But those of you that have the time to be competitive, please continue the grind. I'm all in support of you. I'm definitely rooting for you all. So, yeah, that's just kind of my 2 cents of the state of the game. Definitely healthy right now. Definitely. We have a good amount of players and great. We have a lot of potential. It's just a matter of, okay, can we grind it out pretty much? You know, because that's the only way you're going to get your Worlds invite, especially at regionals. Again, I'm going to steal it from other people, but in the end, just try to improve as well. That's a start. If you're kind of worried about, well, you know, because you can map out everything, right? But again, just improve. Stick to one deck. Okay? And know your matchups, know your lineups, and just grind it out pretty much. Get some games in. So, but yeah. So that's kind of what I'm going to conclude on the state of the card game for 2026. I have high expectations, and I'm looking forward to the new season with everybody in the community. Okay? All right, let's move on. We're going to go ahead and move on to some of the rule changes, particularly one, because it's a major rule change. I know it's been discussed in the other podcasts. I just want to give my 2 cents from the local scene, and we're going to get my handy dandy web browser and kind of read it out to you in short. So I'm particularly going to talk about the end of round rule change and so what Pokemon decided to do, and everyone's been practicing already because the new tournaments are going to be in July, are going to implement the end of round rule change by the judges and TOs. So pretty much what's going to happen is the end of round procedure is what's going to happen is when time is called, competitors only have an additional full turn now. So player A, player B, one more turn. And the active competitor will complete the turn, their opponent will then complete their turn, and if no winner is determined by that point, the game is a draw. Between those 2 turns, there's an overtime clock of 10 minutes. And I know Azul and some others have mentioned that why not just add the 10 minutes to the allotted time, you know, in best of 3 in regionals, you know, so, and I get what they're trying to say about that too. If you ask my opinion about it, I think this is a great rule change because I understand what Pokemon is saying. I mean, you can read it, but for those of you that you kind of know already, right now we just have a lot of people taking very long in the whole 0, 1, 2, 3 because there's no time limit, right? And an active judge watching, sure, they'll watch, but 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna like stop the game and be like, okay, warning, tempo play, stuff like that. Okay, so with that, I kind of feel like that rule change is needed. And from the local scene, I think games are going to finish a lot faster, in my opinion. I think people are going to play a lot faster. Certainly when I play at a decent speed, and when I do, I definitely want to win or lose. That's what I want to do. If special circumstances were to make a tie, great. But most of the time, I'm either winning or losing. You know, board state, I know there's gentleman's agreement. I particularly, if my board state is pretty much trash, then yes, I will. You know, so stuff like that. But I feel like this new rule change is definitely a big plus, and it's going to force a lot of people to speed up the tempo of play, in my opinion. It may not, honestly, but we'll see. And I'm particularly talking about from a competitive point of view, especially in top tables in the local scene. So I feel like, and we're already implemented it, right? But if you ask me from a TO and judge's point of view, there's been plenty of times where, you know, the higher tables or everyone chilling just waiting for the other tables to finish their games. And nothing wrong with that, because particularly those people that are trying to finish the games, they're either new to the scene or they just picked up the game recently, and so they're trying to figure out how their deck works. And I understand that. I really do. But at the same time, it does slow the process down a lot for tournament of play. And I've told people this before. I've told some of the judges when we met this past weekend, you know, like it just never fails that when you run a big event or a major event like a League Cup, there's always somebody new that's going to show up and want to try the game. And as Play Pokemon events, even to the rulebook tournament organizer, we can't deny them that or discourage that. If they want to play, they have every right to play. I can tell you, it hasn't happened recently, but in the years past, I've run League Cups and, you know, people buy a starter deck and try to play the game, enter the tournament, you know, and you wish that they would show up at the organized league play days, right? Or, you know, but it's just, that's not going to happen. So it just always works out that somebody that's new to the card game will hop onto a League Cup. And I'm sure it happens at regionals too, right? Just trying to get their deck to work. So, but yeah, so in final thoughts, I believe that, in my opinion, that this change was needed. I'm looking forward to games finishing faster and tournaments even running even faster. And just to kind of tag on, I know some people, particularly were from the local scene, I know we're wishing that card shops open sooner. And that's what I mean by the red carpet. You know, it just, as TOs and judges, we have no control of that, you know, and particularly I'm not gonna tell somebody how to run their business, you know, because I'm just there to run the tournament. How they do their business, I mean, but I'm encouraging the player base, hey, you know, talk to the owners, tell them your concerns, but, you know, don't tell the middleman. I mean, hey, you know, but especially some of these card shops, I don't have the key to the card shop. I just show up and I'm just like everybody else, a customer, but for that day a judge, you know. So hopefully this will make things run faster and things be smoother. So there we go. All right, so for the last thing to sum up the podcast, we're gonna do a small tribute for a very big pioneer in the RGV. I say small tribute, but this person definitely deserves more. And this past weekend, we also have learned we lost a very good person to the TCG pop culture comic book community. And, you know, I'm sad to say that we lost a great pioneer, and my condolences to the family for the remembrance of Helgi Davis, proud owner of Myth Adventures, and passed away this past weekend. So in tribute to him and the card shop, I just want to give you my experience. And I say this because I probably would not be playing the card game if it weren't for that shop. And it's so unique to see and read the dozens of stories. If you go to Myth Adventures Facebook page, you'll see, see their post about their announcement of passing of Helgi Davis, and just reading some of those stories, lots of stories, a lot of shares, lots of love to the pop culture community, comic book, baseball card community. So in short, I'm just going to give you my experience with Myth Adventures when I was a kid. And I mean what I say. I really would not be playing the card game if it weren't for that card shop. Because back then, my Saturday ritual as a kid, and I definitely want to thank my godfather for allowing me to play the card game and taking me to league. So I wake up in the morning, right? The butt crack of dawn, pretty much 5 in the morning, go have breakfast. Then around 6, go to Toys R Us as a kid. They had organized play there. Go play there for a little bit, grab lunch, go to Myth Adventures, play there. Then after Myth Adventures, I would still stay in McAllen and go to Hastings, which is pretty much on the same street. So if you know where the old Flex was, Hastings was across from. I think it's a gym now. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, that's what I would do. I Myth Adventures. It was across from Joe's Toy Kingdom. It was across from Shogun's, the restaurant. And that's where it was. That's where Myth was. And I know Myth, the card shop, has hopped around. They finally have a place. They've always had a place, but they just hopped around like McAllen since then. But that's where I went to go play Pokemon. And of course, the Magic scene was there, the comic books, the pop culture, the statues, everything there to this day. So, but yeah, they had a place to have tournaments. I remember rocking the Pikachu Raichu deck and just getting slaughtered by those 90 teens that ran Hitmonchan and Haymaker decks, and I was just a kid back then, so I didn't know what meta was. I just wanted my Pikachu deck to work, so trying to grind out the Raichu to do a Thunderbolt, which took 4 energies, by the way. So if I could get a double colorless and 2 lightning, I was chilling. And yeah, of course, I had no concept, right, of meta back then. But and then, of course, I joined the meta train and Haymaker and Magmar and all that, Skyther, Sword Dance, all that good stuff. Blastoise, Rain Dance deck, damage control, all that. So yeah, it all started from Myth. And, Helgi was a good person, I go there, he'd be very receptive. And I always felt like, I don't know, to me, I always felt like he liked Magic more, but I was a kid. I was just a kid. I didn't know any better, but he was a cool guy. I mean, and the people that worked there at the time. So yeah. And I know everyone else had their interactions, more so than me, of course, because I was a kid, but yeah, I mean, that's where I started to play cards, and I didn't have a place to play, then, what would we be, right? So, anywho, in remembrance of Helgi Davis, I'm gonna play. I did find this on YouTube, and particularly if you want to learn a little about, if you want to learn about the owner, you can go to the FN Sunny Show. It was recorded a couple of years back. I'll play a little bit of it, and if you want to go watch it some other time, you're welcome to it. But it's pretty much. The FN Sunny Show did an interview on Helgi and his card shop along with his granddaughter. So, play a little bit of it. Pretty cool, my opinion. We'll watch a little bit of it. Let me make sure we get it going. So, here we go. Just a little bit of it.
And you're kind of known in these parts for owning one of the first, I don't know if the proper term is comic book store or adventure store.
Well, it was Originally, I was actually a baseball card store, sports card store, back in Edinburgh. In 1989, my wife got kind of upset that I had so many baseball cards in the house. As one day she told me to get him out of the house or get him out of
He's
her
a
way.
hoarder. I'm Kali, but he's a hoarder. So he was hoarding, basically, is how the story went. And she was like, I'm tired of all this shit. So get it out, right?
Yeah, in a way. So I
In a way.
and I surprised her. She came home and I says, I got all.
So yeah, so if you want to check out the interview, look up the F and Sunny show, and you can learn about Mr. Davis and his adventures of owning Myth Adventures. So yeah, you know, and not to mention the D&D community, you know, Dungeons and Dragons, pretty much pop culture itself started all there in the RGV, in my opinion. So, you know, yeah, that's my token appreciation to Myth Adventures and to LG for allowing us to be nerds. Okay. All right. So to kind of wrap things up, I want to thank everyone today for listening to my podcast. And, you know, if you like what you heard today, please like and subscribe. And I'll try to be consistent as possible. Try to upload every Tuesday or Draw 7. With that being said, this is KG from Draw 7 signing out. Have a great day. Peace.